Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here, and in today's video we are taking a deep dive on the Bitcoin charts and why I believe that Bitcoin is showing a very bullish posture. So this is exciting because what I'm going to be showing you today is a different perspective on the charts that I haven't really talked about before, and they're also going to be taking a look at S&P 500 as well as Tesla. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Bitcoin is sitting just above $44,000. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the first 7-day chart. Let's take a look at that weekly chart. So typically, we could look at the 12-hour daily, but it's really the weekly chart that has, in my opinion, a ton of conviction when it comes to Bitcoin. Obviously, we can look at those lower level time frames to get us clues of what's going to happen next, but in my opinion, the weekly chart shows a heck of a lot of conviction. So you can see here that this green moving average is going to be, if Bitcoin continues to rise, quickly crossing over the red, which is really exciting news because if you look back at the history of Bitcoin and this green moving average crossing above the red, in basically every single scenario was the excellent time to enter Bitcoin. And anytime the green crossed below the red, example right here, an excellent time to exit Bitcoin. So that's what we're looking at there. I'm looking to see a green 2 printed next week, and hopefully it can go above the high of this candle, which is 44,241. But then again, this week still has more time to have a bit of a higher price, but we just want to see the candle next week trading above the high of this week's candle. So that'll be also an excellent sign. So what we're seeing here kind of sort of reminds me, when we consider moving averages, what is happening over here. So when you compare this green one with this green one, you can see here that they are kind of similar in the point of which the green is approaching crossing over the red. So if we have that in the same scenario, the green 2 trading above the green 1, that'll be a positive sign. So if it continues in this way, then we can anticipate about 4, 5, 6 weeks of upside, which is definitely very exciting. The only thing that has me seeing a major difference between those two areas of the chart would be the capitulation. So we had more sideways trading in this scenario versus the capitulation that we saw over here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the daily chart here on Bitcoin. So daily chart, a green 1 has been printed, which is really nice. I would have anticipated actually a little bit of a pullback here, but we might just see straight continuation and maybe some resistance over here at this DMA. So the current DMA is just above $48,000, but I think it'll take some time for Bitcoin to get there. I think it'll take, about a week or so. So I would anticipate this DMA to continue dropping. And if Bitcoin gets there around like April 1st, then that is at about $46,500. So just kind of an estimation over there. But before we move on, I want to talk to you guys about iTrust Capital, which is an IRA that you can use to invest in Bitcoin. And what is really cool about this particular company is that basically you can choose to do a Roth IRA, which is what I would absolutely choose to do. You fund it with after-tax dollars, and then anything that you contribute to it is a not tax deductible. And then when you withdraw after age 59 and a half, then it's completely tax-free. So this is a really excellent way to basically jump ahead and plan for the future. So depending on your age, you can contribute between $6,000 and $7,000 a year. And what's really cool about iTrust Capital is that it costs $0 every single month, and 24/7 hours. You can not just invest in Bitcoin, but you can invest in other cryptocurrencies as well as silver and gold. It costs $0 every single month. And another really great addition is that you can actually trade within your IRA account and pay 0 tax dollars. So any trades that you make are actually a non-taxable event, which makes it extremely appealing as well. So I have a link down below at the top of my description, as well as the pinned comment, if you want to get started with iTrust Capital, and you'll actually get $100 in free Bitcoin when you fund your account. So something that, if you can't move to Puerto Rico or move to a state that has low or zero taxes, this is one really excellent way to plan for the future. And the younger that you can start investing, the better to just play the tax game in your favor. So like I said, that link is down below, and let's head back over to the daily chart here on Bitcoin. I would love to see, well, Bitcoin already made a higher high. So we want to, like I said, we'll probably see some continuation and then find some resistance there. But on the daily chart, I noticed something really quite interesting, and this is what I haven't noticed before. So what's really important to understand is not just the price, but also the duration that it stays in that range, right? So always consider building support. So when Bitcoin is boring, don't get frustrated. Remember that it's building support in that particular range. So I basically kind of saw this channel right here, which Bitcoin was trading in, over the past few months. You could put a line right here and a line down here, and it's just kind of, bouncing in between that channel. And I kind of wanted to see the duration of how long it had been trading in this channel for. So you could take into consideration, the high over here. So let's go ahead and measure this based on a date range. So you could go ahead and say this date over here to where we currently are is 77 bars or 77 candles. So just to kind of make it more clear for you guys, the lines that I am using here are like between here and here. Let me go ahead and click that again. So between those 2 points, which was approximately high 33,000 and the top was about about $46,000, Bitcoin traded over the last about 77 days in that particular range. I'm like, okay, interesting. Like maybe there is some correlation that we could see when it comes to trading in a range and for how many days. So I was looking at the chart and thinking, okay, the period of time that it traded in that range looks somewhat comparable to what happened back over here between approximately like May of 2021 and like August range. And I paid attention to that same particular range because obviously we saw this insane move on Bitcoin after that. So let's go and look at that range, that day range, and see what we're looking at here. So I would go ahead and start it about here and end it right over here. So I basically am ending it when it broke above the high of that candle. So 81 bars. So that is somewhat currently comparable with the 77 bars or days that we have been trading in that particular range. So that is something to consider because obviously, once Bitcoin broke above the high of that candle, then it had a nice run, which was approximately, once it broke the high of that candle, then it went up about 25%. Obviously, it had a pretty big pullback, but then another massive move after that. So maybe it's a similar pattern that we might see moving forward. And another thing that I noticed when it came to that particular range was the dollar amount. So the dollar amount was, let's see, approximately 54%. And when it came to Bitcoin over here, we're looking at a range of about 45%. So also kind of relative in not just the duration of time of trading in a range, but also the percentage of the range. So if we're looking at, a similar situation of what we saw over here on the daily versus over here, then things are going to look quite good once we go probably above the high of, let's see, it's going to be probably this candle right here approximately, which is about $45,000. So keep an eye in that particular range. But like I said, I'm kind of anticipating some resistance. And when you look, and if you look at that blue DMA right there, we could also potentially see some similarities of it kind of, not blowing completely past it, but kind of staying in the range of that DMA and then breaking above, breaking below it once again, and then more room to the upside. So let's take into consideration if we are kind of like in the same situation of where we are here, and we look at the price increase, I guess you could say, from there to the high after the big pullback, that's a 61% increase. And then let's also look at the date range. let's see, so the date range would be about 94 days, so 3 months. So that would put us April, May, June. So I would say maybe late June is where we see potentially an all-time high. But a lot would have to happen, and with the current state of the world, it can definitely be extremely, extremely tricky. So across the board, crypto is up today. We have a lot of green going on, which is really exciting. Things are looking really, really nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, S&P 500. We're going to look at SPY. We're going to go and zoom, take a look at the weekly chart. So when you put things into perspective, people might think that, like, you know, this pullback has been just absolutely insane. But when you look at it from a percentage perspective, and when you zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, it kind of just looks like a pretty darn small pullback. It's very similar to the one that we saw over here in January of 19. And then, of course, this is what we saw happened in March of 2020. So let's go ahead and take, let's zoom in on the daily chart. So technically, you know, the S&P has made, or SPY has made a higher high on the daily chart, which is exciting. There's all these DMAs that it's kind of running into, and I think that once it breaks above that, it's kind of on its way to an all-time high, which is definitely exciting. So we're still seeing correlation between the two, between traditional markets and Bitcoin. I'm really looking forward to the day that they separate, but that day is not now. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here at Tesla. Tesla looking strong on the daily chart. You know, it has made a clear higher high. The green started trading above the red. It's already like flirting with this particular DMA, and once it gets over that one, then I think it's kind of probable that Tesla sees new all-time highs. So in my opinion, Tesla looking quite bullish. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to know what you think on my analysis of Bitcoin and trading in that particular range, and if you think that Bitcoin is bearish or bullish. And also, if you want to get started with iTrust Capital, I have that link down below. That's one way for you to support my channel, and one excellent way for you to save on taxes. So that is all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.